All right, guys. Very good evening, everyone. My name is Pratik Agarwal. I'm going to be the lead coach for today's workshop on how do we create a Telegram-based AI agentic bot. Okay, and the theme today I have chosen to have it around financial advisory. So we'll ultimately end up creating a bot that answers financial advisory questions or that advises people on financial investments uh, based on the individual's profile. And that the interface would be Telegram. Okay. So that's going to be the agenda for today's workshop, guys. And before we get started quickly about the sponsor of today's workshop, the sponsor of today's workshop is Ivy Pro School, one of the leading top-ranked data and AI institutes in India. We've been working in this industry for the last 16 years, since 2008, and we have approximately 32,500 alumni base. We are also official learning partner of some of the largest Fortune 500 companies. These are some of the select clienteles that we have. And also we are present in these cities in India, physically present, as well as we do online live. So classroom as well as online live. And we have association with IIT Guwahati, IBM, NASSCOM, Government of India, Minister of IT, for delivering some of these skill courses in the world of data and AI. So that's about the sponsor of the program. And I can see a lot of people are saying good evening. So good evening to everybody. And if you're not able to join in on Zoom, then you can definitely join in on our YouTube channel, Ivy Pro School. So if you just search youtube.com, Ivy Pro School, you will find us. So as I said, for people who are joining just now, the agenda for today's workshop is very simple. We want to build a Telegram-based AI agentic bot, which will work as a financial advisor, where using Telegram, anybody could send any information about themselves and get financial advisory from AI. So Telegram we will use as a user interface. All right. So now I'm assuming that a lot of people are very new to the LLM world. So I'll give a quick introduction to LLM. I'll also talk about something called as application programming interface, which is API, and that is going to be the key thing here. That is going to be one of the key aspect that is going to work like the window to the LLM service that we will end up using. And then we will talk about in general how the application layer Gen AI apps, which are built on foundation layer, which is the LLM model using API. So we'll talk about that. And I'll ensure that even if you have no background in any of these concepts, you should still be able to build the AI model, the AI agent bot that we would end up creating. Okay. If you would be interested in going deeper into it, deeper into the codes that will be used and so on and so forth, then you can always reach out to me. Okay. Now, let's get started with this. What makes an AI chat like a pro, right? So the first and the foremost thing that you need is a large language model, right? That is the foundation model. So whenever you open any news paper, whenever you talk about LLM models, large language models, you're talking about the foundation layer models, which have been trained on humongous amount of language data, right? And the idea is that they've built patterns, they've built insights, and then whenever you ask a new prompt or a new question to such a large language model, it applies a probabilistic model to answer or to predict the next word in your sentence. So if I like, uh, I like something. Let's say I simply write I like. Now, let's say the most probabilistic word to come after this is you. So that's how so it predicts that, and then accordingly it gives you the answer in a super simple form. That's how it works, right? So we require access to a large language model provider, right? So it's like our electricity provider, right? In our house, when we need electricity, we reach out to an electricity service provider. We open an account. They assign us a consumer number. They assign us a consumer number. Here, instead of a consumer number, we will get assigned a secret API key, which I will talk about more further, right? And once you have the secret API key, just like you have consumer number with you, through secret API key, you can access LLM service, which is the AI, artificial intelligence service provided by many mega tech companies, right? So once you have that, then you can have your own software which you can connect, or your own interface, a user interface which can connect with an LLM service very easily. And then you can actually have a AI app which is powered by these LLMs. Now, so API, as I said, is the success. So API is just like a server, like a waiter in a restaurant, right? And a waiter in a restaurant takes, let's say you are a customer, you give instructions, or let's say you give order of food to the waiter. Let's say there is a waiter, right? Now the waiter understands your food order, goes to the kitchen and gives the order to, let's say, a bunch of people who are cooking the food. And once the food is ready, then ready food, then it brings the ready food and delivers the food to you. So you do not know exactly how the food was prepared, who prepared the food. You probably don't even care about, as long as you get the food that you ordered for and the food is yummy, right? So similarly, in a software world, so a user interface, for example, an app, maybe a mobile app, in our case, it will be a Telegram app, right? It's just the user interface. In the user interface, the users are interacting. The end users are interacting. For example, you and I are interacting on the user interface, and that user interface app is connected through API to a large language model, or a large language model provider, which is an AI provider. In our case, we will connect to Google Gemini. In today's case, we will connect to Google Gemini, but you must have heard of OpenAI, which is the parent company of ChatGPT. Similarly, Llama, which is the company which is owned by. So Google Gemini is the model, is the large language model by Google. OpenAI has GPT models, and similarly, Meta has Llama models. And there are many such models which are available. So there are many LLM service providers. It has become like a commodity. And very recently, you must have heard about Chinese DeepSeek, right? Which is again an LLM service provider. The idea, the idea is that all these LLM service providers, the LLM software as a service, or AI as a software, AI as a service providing company, they give you access to their service through API, right? And through this API, you as a user send instruction to the user app, and that app sends the instruction through this API to the LLM, and then when the LLM gives a response, then through this API, it gets back to our user interface. So the API becomes like a window. It becomes like a bridge between the user application and the AI application, or the LLM service providing softwares. So that is your API. How do you get access to API as an individual? So as I said, when you want to apply for electricity from an electricity service provider, you have to go create an account, and then once you're validated, they give you a consumer number, and that's how they track the uses of electricity in terms of number of units that you consume. In our case, in LLM case, most of the time you will hear about this word called as tokens. One token is roughly equivalent to one word. One token, you can say, is roughly equivalent to one word in a text-based language models, right? If it is an image-based language model, it could be different. Shubhankar, I will repeat the flowchart again. No problem. Essentially, what we are talking about is, what is an API, application programming interface? What is it? It is a window, it is a bridge that connects a user application. A user application could be your applications that we have, the softwares that we have on our mobile phones, on our laptops, right? Those are just a user interface, but the actual softwares, the actual software service provider is actually not there on your phone, right? I mean, when you are searching something, it's not like on Google, it's not like, the entire Google database is on your phone, right? It's the Google interface that you see or the browser interface that you see, just a user interface, right? So that user interface application, in our case, in today's case, we will see Telegram as an application that becomes our user interface, user facing application. That application has to connect to a AI service provider software. In a technical term, we call them as LLM service providers, right? LLM software service provider. The world famous LLM service software service providers are OpenAI, OpenAI, Google, Meta. So Google has Gemini series of models, LLM models, large language models. So OpenAI has GPT series of large language models. Meta has Facebook has Llama series, and there are many such large language model service providers which are out there. So your app will connect to a large language model service provider through application programming interface, right? And through this API, you can send your instructions, your prompt from your user app to the LLM's service providing app. And once you get the response, again through the API, you get it back into your user interface or user app. Very, very similar to how we spoke about that a waiter, a server in a restaurant takes the order from a customer, takes it to the kitchen, gets the food from the kitchen, delivers it back to the customer's table, right? So the purpose of that waiter is just to deliver the food, take the order and deliver the food, not to make anything. The waiter or the server is not really, the steward there is not really cooking anything for you, right? Similarly, here in the software world, in the tech world, we have API which allows a user interface to talk to a end service provider, in our case, LLM service provider, right? Now, we will also talk about that how can you create your own API with a AI with a LLM service provider. For example, in today's class, we'll talk about how you can create your own API with Google Gemini. It's very easy to do that. Okay, right? So as I said, the through API we request the app sends the user interface, the user UI of the app sends the request or a prompt through API. It goes to the AI model, the LLM model, which is the LLM software, and gets a response, right? And then it displays the response or sends the response back to the user interface so that we can see it on our phone or on our laptops, right? So that's the recipe of any AI powered AI app. Okay. So some of the famous examples of AI powered application that you might have come across, you must have come across ChatGPT. So that is actually a AI powered API powered AI app. ChatGPT is really not the LLM, right? ChatGPT happens to be is just the user interface, right? And it is connected through API to OpenAI GPT LLM models, right? And when you send a prompt, that means when you ask a question or when you take an action on ChatGPT, it takes that prompt, sends your prompt to the LLM, to OpenAI GPT model through API. And once you get the response, once it gets the response, it sends the response back to ChatGPT's interface. That's a typical model of any API-based AI app, right? So you have got many of them. Spotify has AI layer. Duolingo is a very famous app now to learn languages, multiple languages. There are quite a few of them. There are applications which are helping you to learn languages, which are helping you to create art, which are helping you to compose music, right? And they're all relying on the fact that you can send a prompt through API to an LLM, get a response back, and then that displays the response coming from the LLM service provider, right? So that is the typical workflow. The things that we need, how do you build your first Gen AI app? agent. I mean, I have given, I have recorded a lot of videos as well. If you go to Ivy's YouTube channel, you will find that, there are various, um, I have recorded various short videos, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 60 minutes videos, where I have taken you through end-to-end AI-based agent development or AI-based app development. Okay. So you can actually watch some of the other applications for example, real estate advisor. I've done, I think, for astrology as well. I've done it for various different use cases that you can look for. Okay. So we will talk about the prompts as well. How do you build the prompts and how do you connect all these things together? So you require this as a tech stack. You need a front end. You need something, a user interface that can interact with the user. In today's class, in today's workshop, that user interface will be Telegram. It will be interesting because Telegram, WhatsApp can be easily downloaded on any phone, and we all are familiar with it as well. So you can actually chat with an AI-powered agent, which will advise you on financial, planning. So that's going to be interesting thing. But you do need one front end, right? Could be Telegram, could be website, could be a mobile app, could be Google Sheet, could be Excel. But you need a user interface and a backend logic. That is where I have written, a few lines of code in Python, which I'll show you. Even if you do not understand Python, I have simplified it. I've given comments as well. Anybody can learn it. Okay. This will allow you to connect to the service provider using API. That is the main thing. So we'll take the message from the user in from Telegram. So first it will establish connection to Telegram, take the response, take the message from the user, and then send that message using API to a large language model, and then receive the response and then send it back to Telegrams to the end user. Okay, that is going to be the objective of today's workshop, guys. Okay, so without further ado, let's look into the steps that we'll perform. Okay. So these are the steps that we'll perform today. We'll set up and configure it. So we will install so what I'll do is I will put all the steps, the actual steps on a Word document, and then I'll upload it onto Ivy's YouTube channel's description so that everybody can access this. And also I will upload the you know the code that I'm going to be using today. Okay. Now, the first thing it says is install. So I'm assuming that you have Python installed. If you do not have Python installed, I will also upload the instruction on how to install Python on your local machine. Okay. So the first thing first, we will install the necessary package. Now I already have the packages installed already. Yes, you will get the PDF document. You'll get all of it. Do not worry about that. Just give me a second. So the first step would be to install the required libraries. So you see what happens is Python is very good. Python is very useful. Why? Because it allows you to install various different libraries and functions. Libraries are nothing but set of functions that we use. For example, in Excel, we use equals to sum, equals to average, right? So similarly, libraries are nothing but set of functions that we can use to extend the capability of Python. Okay. So the first thing is that we'll have to install this particular library. This telebot allows us to interact with Telegram. That is why this library is required. And Google.generative AI library is required so that we can use Google's API services, right? So that we can interact with Google Gemini LLM, right? So the first thing first, what I will do is I will open the command line prompt, and I'll go to the file, and then here I will run the command. Yeah, I'll run the command pip install telebot, as I said, and then the second thing is google.generative generative AI, install Telebot, Google.generative AI, right? I will install it. Again, it's a one-time step. Once you have done it, it's done, right? And for me, it already says the requirement already satisfied, so no problem, right? So both the things are already installed, but the command is very simple. pip, which is Python install package, install Telebot. We are installing the libraries and the functions available under Telebot library package so that we can interact with Telegram from our code, right? And Google.generative AI library is required so that we can interact with Google Gemini large language model using the API, right? So that is why we need both these packages with us or both these libraries with us, isn't it? Let me know if there is any question, guys, okay? And now the next thing is we will create APIs. We will create because we want to handle Telegram messages. So we want to, so look at this step, obtain APIs for both Telegram bot and GenAI bot. Now, how do we get the APIs? Now, assuming that you all have Telegram with you, right? Telegram allows you to create free bots, unlike WhatsApp. If you're wondering why are we not using WhatsApp, even though WhatsApp is more popular, WhatsApp does not allow us to create bots as freely as Telegram does. No, Shubhankar, Google.generative AI is specifically to use Google's API services. Google's generative AI API services, not OpenAI's API services. If you were to use OpenAI's API, then we would have to use that. You are right, Kamath, whatever your name is, Kamatham, you're right. Botfather, using Botfather from Telegram. Absolutely right, right? So in order to use that, I am going to open Telegram. I had opened it. Let me open Telegram here, right? So here's the Telegram, if you can see. And I would look for something called as Botfather here. And how do you look for it? Just type Botfather, one word without any space. You will get that. Remember, don't go to anything else but Botfather, right? Once you go to Botfather, this is how it. This is how you know if it is the first time you're coming here. This is how it look like. And after that, what you want to do is you want to type start. And when you type start, then it will ask you, what do you want to do with it? So say, for example, the first thing first, I'm going to create a new bot. Now, what is a bot? Bot is going to be that agent that will allow us to talk to a user, right? So I click on new bot. Now it says, all right, a new bot. What are you going to call it? Or how are we going to call it? Please choose a name for it. Let's say IV Pro 2. Good. Let's choose a username for your bot. Let's say the username and the username must end with a bot without any space. Okay. So let's say I choose ivpro2_bot, right? And now it says, hey, congratulations on your new bot. See how easy it is to create a bot like this in Telegram, right? We did not require any line of code, nothing, right? You will find this bot over here. But this is the most important thing, guys, okay? I want to copy this API. Remember, we need this API. See, this is unique to me, right? Similarly, it will be unique to you as well. And I've copied it. And what I'm going to do is, this is my bot. Right now, nothing is happening. What I'm going to do is that I will save this bot in a notepad. So this is my Telegram bot, Telegram API. Okay. Similarly, the next thing is, as the steps say, let's get the API from Google Gemini as well. It's very easy to get Google Gemini API now. You just search for Google AI Studio, and assuming that you are logged in into Gmail on Chrome browser, then you'll directly come over here. Then you click on the first button on the left-hand side, which says Get API Key. And then over here, you will get the API key, and you can just, you can copy it over here, or you can create an API key here. See, I've created the API key, and Google Gemini or whatever name you want to give to it, you can. Okay. And once you have the API key created, let's go ahead and save this. Actually, I opened the wrong one. Give me a second. This is the right copy. And I'm going to save it here. So similarly, you can also create these API keys. I'm going to disable these API keys after the session, of course, but these are all free. You can create them for free, no problem. So I've got these two. So this is my bot API for Telegram, right? Now let's look at the next step. It says initialize the bot and set up the AI model accordingly. So the first thing first, okay? What I've done is that I've divided the program. So I'm going to use the VS Code, the VS Code, which is an editor, Visual Studio Code, a interactive development environment editor, which you can download from the internet. Although, is it required to run the kind of code that I'm going to give to you? No, it is not required. I can also open it in a notepad file, for example, just to show you. Just to show you. For example, this is my first phase. I can also open it, right click, and I will open it as over here. Because when you install Python, you get a ID. Oh, okay, sorry, my bad. I should not open it here. I should open it in a notepad for now. Are there any limit for creating Google APIs? Yes, there are limits. However, the limits I have forgotten about. And give me a second. Let me open it in VS Code only, because it's going to be easier to see. So look at this, huh? So this is my VS Code. It's a visual editor, easier to look at any computer programs, and you can open it. So you should install API. So the idea is that this is the line of code that we have, okay? But let me quickly open file, open the folder, that particular folder where we have the API. And I've got this folder here where I've got all these codes, right? And look at this code here. First file, this .py file, meaning it's a Python file. I've already written it for you. This Python file, this particular Python file is a very, very simple Python file, as you can see over here. I hope everybody can see it clearly. From where will you get this file? I will share it, Suresh. Don't worry. I will share the file with you all. Do not worry. But let me explain the code. It's very, very simple code. And to be very frank, I've used ChatGPT to create this code. So you can also use ChatGPT to create this code, but it's very simple. The first thing is import telebot. But remember, this you can only do once after you have installed the telebot library, because otherwise you'll not be able to import this library over. So you have to first install this package telebot, then you'll be able to import this library to interact with Telegram bot API, right? Replace with your actual, and this bot underscore token is a variable here, and I'm going to replace it with the token that I have here, right? You can replace this Telegram API token. And I have replaced that. Okay, just verify starting 75 and 30. Very good. So that is the bot token. Now to initialize, that means to start the bot, right? It's a very simple command. Bot equals to telebot, which is this library dot telebot. Telebot, this one is a function inside the telebot library, okay? And with this token, that means with this API token or API key, I'm initializing it. Initializing meaning I'm starting the bot, okay? Of course, when I run this command. And once it is initialized, that means once it is, not now, Devas, you can do it after the session is over, because the session is getting recorded, and it will be, the recording of this session will be uploaded on Ivy's YouTube channel. I'll direct you where to find that YouTube video. so that you can follow it at peace very easily after the session. Okay, because during the session, I don't want people to, some of the people may be fast, some of the people will be slow, and we just have 60 minutes. All right. Okay, now, so bot equals to telebot dot this token. And then here, what is happening in this line of code is very simple. It is actually, so this initializes the bot, and this sends a message to the user. Hey, welcome to our simple Telegram bot. When does this send a message to this? When the user clicks a start. Now I'm going to demonstrate this to you so that it makes sense to you. Let me first run this command. I'm going to go to command line prompt, and I am going to go to this particular folder. So I'm going to click on this folder path here, copy that, and I'm going to use a cd command, which is change directory, change folder command, and I'm here. And then I'm going to use Python space. The name of the program is, depending upon how you have saved it, Telegram. Let me first do a dir command. Dir command, by the way, I'll do it again. So dir command gives you the folder, gives you the files of this particular folder, the directory command. So you can see the first file that I want to run, the first program that I want to run is telegram_phase1.py. So I'm going to write Python telegram _phase1.py. Now, when I run this command, what is happening is there is some kind of error. Let me see. The error is exception traceback. Give me 1 second. Sorry, my bad. Just give me 1 second. Let me go to. Yes, this is VS Studio Code. Absolutely right. You are right. Copy the code properly. Save. Maybe I probably extra something. Oh, I understand why it's not. Because I changed the code, but I did not save it. So I have to first save it also. So I saved it. Now, because remember, I initially was running with some other. So let me close this and let me run this. Let me run this again. Now, when I run this, right, what it is doing is that it is initializing the bot on Telegram, that bot that we created on Telegram. And now it is waiting for the user to interact on Telegram, right? So I go to Telegram. And in Telegram, when I type start, then it gives me the message. It says, welcome to our simple Telegram bot, right? This particular program, if you look at this, the idea was just to initiate the connection with Telegram, just to check, and that's it. And I'll tell you how it is happening. If you notice here, bot.infinity.polling, this particular function, which is a function within this telebot library, what it does is that it goes into infinite loop, whereby it is waiting for the user to give a prompt. And as I said, the moment the user give a prompt, or the user give a message as start, which is what happened when I typed start here at /start, that means the moment I give that, it starts the moment, in the sense the user gives this, then it starts the conversation. If you have a Telegram right now, you can also look for this bot called as IV Pro 2 under search. And if you find it, you can also interact with it, and you can say /start, right? And the moment you do so, you will be interacting with the bot that I have created over here. For now, the only thing that this bot does is that it helps us to create the with the help of ChatGPT, can we create more command? Yes, Suraj, why can't? You can create, I mean, people are creating complete applications using the commands from, using the codes from ChatGPT. Of course, you need to know more context about it. So you need to at least understand, what is happening in the code, and if something were to go wrong, what to do with it, right? At least that much knowledge is definitely required. ChatGPT coding makes you work 5 times to 7 times or 8 times faster, but you must know coding, right? Today is the right time to learn coding. Anyway, so this code is a very simple code. It initiates the communication through Telegram bot, and that is the only message that it is giving. That is the first thing, right? I'm going to stop. I'm going to go to my command line prompt, and I'm going to stop this service. Control C. How did I stop it? Control C. I stopped it, right? Now, if I go back to my Telegram bot or anybody who's interacting with it, even if it types this, nothing will happen. Okay, because my bot is now no longer running. It's no longer initialized. It is stopped, right? Now I go back to this thing. Now I'm going to show you phase 2. Phase 1 was just to test the connection with Telegram bot. This phase 2 is where we are giving it some capabilities, or sorry, not capabilities per se, but we are giving it some rules, you may say, to ask for some more information. Remember, the idea is to get our Telegram AI agent bot to work like a financial advisor. But in order to advise somebody on financial planning, the financial advisor needs to know some more information about the users, right? As basic as age, income, and what are the financial goals along with the time period that we have. That much information is definitely required. So that is what I have done in this particular program. What I am doing is, in this particular thing, first let me change the this thing, save it. Now, from the beginning, it's same. Here, I've created a dictionary. I've created a dictionary variable user data and have given I've given null, made it as null with this curly brackets, right? I mean, with this pair of curly brackets, it's a dictionary to store different users during the conversation. And dictionaries in Python is a special data type which holds the data in a key and value pair. For example, name colon Pratik, right? Or data science course colon IB Pro School, right? So the idea is that it stores the information in a key value pair, the dictionary. That will be interesting to use here. Now here, the first was again to handle the start. And when the message comes from the user, whatever the message comes from the user, that message will have a user ID. So that is what we are getting from this particular chat.id method. And we are saving that user ID over here. Then user data. Then this user data under square brackets, that means we are trying to access this particular dictionary, user ID equals to, again, so a dictionary can have another dictionary in Python, right? That is why it is pretty interesting that a list can have another list, dictionary can have another dictionary in Python. So user data, user ID, that is again a dictionary, again an empty dictionary right now. But what are we going to save in this user ID dictionary is the message, right? I mean, so now bot.send message. So this will there is no attendance form, guys. I don't know why. It's you're attending on Zoom and automatically the attendance gets recorded. So don't worry about attendance form. People who are asking about attendance form. User data, user ID, this initialized to 0, I mean to null, and then user ID, and this is the message. Welcome, let's begin our conversation. // n basically means enter, and please tell me your age. That is the first message now that the user will receive. And once the user sends that information, once the user gives that information, that will be saved in this message variable. And then it goes to the next step in the handling process, which is a function, another function which says get age. So we have defined a function here. And what is this function doing? It is asking user data. It is storing the message.text. That means whatever the user will enter over here as age, that will be saved in this particular key within the user ID dictionary. So the age is whatever the user gives the age, and then it gives a message to the user, great, now what is your monthly income in rupees, right? Because you're assuming the user is an Indian citizen. And then it takes that message provided by the user, which would be the income, and it invokes or it calls another function called as get income. And in the get income, it takes that same message, goes over here, gets a user ID is the same. And in this same dictionary, now we have another key, which is income, and the value of that income key will be the income provided by the user in the previous step. And then it gives another message to the user, what are your monthly expense, and the monthly expense, whatever it comes, will get saved again under message. We'll go to here. Next one, the next message, the next function is get underscore expenses, which is the function that is getting called over here. And that expenses will be saved in this key, message.text, send message. And finally, please share your financial goals, right? And that last conversation function, it will store the goals under the variable goals, and that's it. There is no further step, and that is the reason why there is no register underscore next underscore step underscore handler in this particular function, and that's it, right? And now in this particular function, what are we doing? We are just echoing back, meaning printing back the collected data back to the user for confirmation. So if you notice here, here is what we have gathered. Age is this much, monthly income is this much, monthly expenses this much, financial goals is this much, and then we send that message to the, as a summary, we send that message, summary is a tuple here, send that message back to the user, right? Again, this is an infinite code, right? So let me go back. So this is again a new program. Remember, telegram underscore phase2.py is a new program. So I go back to my CMD prompt. I am making sure that I am in this particular folder here where this telegram phase2 is there. Then I write this command Python space telegram underscore phase1, and instead of phase1, this time I will write phase2, and I will start running it. And you can see it is running. You can see the dot. You don't see any other prompt, but I'll go to the prompt, and this time again I'll press start. And when I press start here, then it tells me what is your age. Let's say I enter my age as this. Then it says, what is your monthly income? Let's say I enter my monthly income as this. And then it says, what are your monthly expenses? Suppose I enter my monthly expenses to be this much. Then it says, please share your financial goals, right? Let's say buy a house in 10 years worth worth uh, 50 lakhs. Buy that 50 lakhs. That is my goal. Now, it says, here is what we have gathered, right? Here's is what we have gathered. What have we gathered? We have gathered age, we have gathered monthly expenses, we've gathered income, and what is the goal. Now, there is nothing about, there's no integration with AI yet. Hence, there is no analysis. And if you compare this now with the code, we just echoed it. We just showed the data that we collected from the user back to the user, because that's what we have done over here, that, send message user ID, comma, summary. So we are sending the same message, the summary of whatever the user gave to us back to the user. There was no interaction. But now we have been able to collect the data from a Telegram bot through this message, right? Remember these messages, right? If you compare now, it started from here. The moment somebody clicked on start or gave the command as start, it came over here. And then it was empty. Then the first message is sent was, welcome, let's begin our conversation. Please tell me your age. let's begin our conversation, and then two enters here. Two enters. Why two enters? Because I have given two enter character. This for \n, meaning enter and enter. Please tell me your age. Please tell me your age. And somebody gives the age. Then that message, that age comes over here under message variable, gets saved. And that message variable is passed on to this get age function. And in the get age function, that is getting stored in the dictionary's key called as age, right? And the YouTube link people are asking is this. Now, look at this. And what is your monthly income? This much. And then the monthly income is given over here. It is saved in this variable over here. And then what are your monthly expenses? Monthly expenses, it comes and gets saved under the expenses here. And then the last message, please share your, or the second last message, please share your financial goals. Whatever the goal, the message given by the user will be here and will get saved under the goals here. And then finally, we are just, taking all of that in this summary tuple and sending it back to the user to see it. That's it. No other interaction happening right now. But now in phase 3 of this program, I will give you the user interactive, the AI interactivity, which will make this bot an AI agentic bot, right? So let me open the phase 3 program. In the phase 3 program, there are two unique things the two interesting things that I have done here. I've given a Google Gemini API key. First, let me modify this API key. This is the Google Gemini API key, which is same as what we have given over here. Okay. And it's slightly different, but you can use the same one, or I have given the same one. That is one. And second thing here, I've added this line of code as well. GenAI.configure API key under API keys go to Gemini API key. Gemini API key is this variable. And model is Gemini Pro. Now, Google Gemini allows multiple models to play with. I've chosen to use Gemini Pro. If you want to understand the differences between different different models, you can play around with it easily. And you want to learn about it, then you can definitely go to Google and know more about them. And then rest of the things are same. Rest of the things are same up until get goals. Now here, if you notice, after getting the user data, the last user data, which is the financial goal, we had just saved everything into a summary tuple, and then we had sent that summary tuple back to the user. Now, instead of doing so, what we will do is, this is where we will form a prompt. Just like in ChatGPT, you write a prompt and you get a response. Here, we have written a prompt to get some response back from the user. Now, what is the prompt that we have written is we will see. So the prompt is act as a certified Indian financial advisor, create a personalized plan for this age. We are passing this variable, this age, this income, this expenses, this goals. These are all saved under the data dictionary over here. Okay. And we're passing all of that in a formatted input to the prompt, right? And then the prompt is still continuing from provide advice tailored to an Indian citizen, taking into account the current income, expenses, and future financial goal, suggest the saving potentials, suggest the feasibility of financial goals, investment recommendation, budget optimization, action plan with timelines. Look at this. Use this currency and terms like lakhs and crore, avoid jargon, given the format that Telegram can display it properly. That is the prompt that we have defined or we have created. And this prompt is saved in this variable, text variable called as prompt. And what do you think we will do with this prompt? This prompt is something that we will send to Google Gemini, the large language model that we want to use through our Google Gemini API. And where are we doing so? So we are doing this under this try and accept block. This try and accept block is only for error exception handling. You could have avoided it, but it's a good practice to have it, because if there is some response error from Google Gemini, then we can catch it and we can show an error generating advice. Please try again. So here, look at this, generate personal financial advice using GenAI model. How? Response is going to model dot generate underscore content. This model is the model over here. If you remember, we had initialized the model at the beginning, which is this model, right? So model dot generate content is a function available in Google Gemini, Google Generative AI library. And what is the prompt that we are passing? What is this prompt variable? This prompt variable is this prompt variable. That means we are passing this entire prompt to this LLM model with just this simple function. And once we receive it, the response that we receive, we are saving this response under this response variable. And bot.send message user ID, this formatted your India focused financial plan is again /n/n, meaning enter response.text. Whatever response we get over here, and we are showing the text of that, right? And if there is any exception, any error in these two lines of code, then this will be invoked, that the user will see an error. However, otherwise, if there are no error, the user will see this particular message, right? And now we are ready to save it. We save it and we go back to the command line prompt. Before this, I will kill, that means Control C. I will stop the last bot which was running, and I will come here and change it to phase3.py, and now it is running. The next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to go back to my bot, and this time when I write start, then it'll ask me some questions. So let's say I give the same question, same responses. 40, your monthly income, let's say, is this. Your expenses, let's say, this much. And your goal is buy a house worth 50 lakhs Indian rupees in 10 years. The power of GenAI is that you can give unstructured input, like this is a pretty unstructured input, buy a house worth this. And now look at the response that it created. Of course, the formatting is not great. We can format it, we can work on it to format it better, but savings potential, monthly income is this much, monthly expense. So saving potential is 65,000. It is doing that calculation. Feasibility of financial goal, buy a house worth of this, annual savings is this, monthly savings needed is this much, right? Having annual savings needed is this much, and monthly savings needed is this much, which is pretty okay, feasible, because we are saving 65,000 and savings needed is 41,000. So investment recommendation, 15,000 monthly for 10 years in ELSS, PPF 12,000 monthly for 15 years. Nice. SSKY Sukanya if you have a daughter, although if somebody doesn't have a daughter, for girl child, then we don't get that benefit. Right? NPS is this much for monthly retirement planning, and reduce non-essential expenses by 20% is what this is recommending. Negotiate on the utility bills and whatnot. An action plan. Start investing in ELSs immediately for tax saving. Open a PPF account within 2 months and invest regularly. Discuss opening an SSOI for your daughter within 3 months. Join NPS within 6 months. Review your budget and implement cost saving measures within 1 month. Right? It says that it may need to be adjusted for unforeseen circumstances, right? So this is what is happening, guys, okay? Just to go back here. Everything else was same as phase 2 code. The only difference was now we took all that data that was given by the user, which was income, age, expenses, and the goals, and then we sent it with this clever prompt engineering to saved it as a prompt, and then we send it to the LLM model with just a very simple function, model.generate content, using this prompt. And whatever response we got, we send the response to the user, response text value to the user in this bot.send underscore message. That's about it. It's a very, very simple Telegram based AI bot which is actually doing financial advising. Not bad, actually, if you ask me. Now, questions, guys. Questions. Now, I know we are towards the closer. So before you start to drop out, I will just tell you one thing, that if you want to be connected with me, just Google my name, Pratik space Ivy. And the first link on LinkedIn you will get would be mine. And I'll be more than, I accept connections from all my learners. So I'll be more than happy to accept connection from any and everybody who wants to reach out to me. Also, I'm going to give you my email address should you want to reach out to me in the chat window, pratik@ivproschool.com. More than happy to be connected with you guys. I've spent around 20 years in the data and AI industry. I've done my MS in information systems and operational research from Texas. I'm also a computer engineer, and I've consulted in some of the biggest consulting firms, as well as I've helped some of the largest Fortune 50, Fortune 500 firms as well in India. So that was the session. Now I open the forum for Q&A, for questions and answers. Can the bot be used by others? Yes, Soumyajit. In fact, you can try it. If you want to try the same bot, if you go to Telegram, if you have the Telegram bot, if you have the Telegram app, just search for Ivy Pro 2 and see if you can find it. Ivy Pro 2 bot. And you can actually start interacting with it. You just have to click on the start there and you will be able to start interacting. Rahul's question is, can you help me make a WhatsApp bot like this? Rahul, WhatsApp is more commercial in nature. So you have to go, WhatsApp doesn't allow you to create the bots as easily as Telegram does. You do need one more application server layer in between. So you may want to use a tool called as Twilio and experiment with it. Twilio, or just check the spelling, Twilio. And then there is another tool called as Glitch, which through which you can actually try and create a WhatsApp bot. But it is not as easy as creating a Telegram bot. Telegram bot, we saw how easy it was to create it. So unfortunately, Meta makes a lot of money by through their WhatsApp-based app bots. So that is why Telegram is very easy to create the bots, but not WhatsApp. What else, guys? What else is the question? Are there any questions that I can help you? We have a couple of minutes. I can also help you with any questions about the application that we created today. Did you type, what did you type? You typed Ivy Pro 2 like that? Type Ivy Pro 2 bot. What was the name of the bot that we gave? I suppose the bot name was Discord bot or something, right? Yeah. That was the bot that I created, I suppose. Yeah. So this is the bot. I will give you the link. Anybody can interact with it. Look at the link, t.me Ivy Pro 2 underscore bot. That's the bot that you're looking for. On Telegram, though, of course. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, Anushka, if you want deeper understanding, of course, at Ivy Pro School, we have generative AI courses at different levels. Data science and generative AI and data engineering courses at different levels. We start from very, very scratch. Here, a lot of assumptions I made. I made the assumption that you have some understanding of Python. But when we do in the course, we start from very, very scratch. You will learn each and every line of the code as well. And not just how to read the code, but also how to write the code. And then we go to use cases of 40 plus projects and case studies, which you can showcase on your resume as well and on your LinkedIn profile as well, to show the potential recruiters, your capabilities. So yeah, that is the best way that I would advise you, right? You can start exploring. If you want to reach out to me, or just drop an email, or Polemy is there. She can also help you. I'm sure she will share some kind of a form with you all to kind of fill up if you are interested in the program. All right, guys. If there are no more questions that you have, then I will take your leave. Thanks a lot, and I really, really hope that you try to build the bot that we saw today. And I would also advise you that maybe create a very small LinkedIn post once you've created the bot, right? I'm going to give you the codes and everything. Once you've created the bot, you must create a LinkedIn post, maybe a small photograph of the bot and how it works, or maybe a video of the bot if you can record, and post it on your LinkedIn profile. You'd be amazed how many people would be surprised, right? You can also tag me if you want. I'll be more than happy to kind of reshare. I've got some 11,000 followers. We'll be more than happy to reshare on Ivy's LinkedIn profile as well. We got more than 16,000 followers there. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great night, and I will see you. But just wanted to reiterate the fact that you may want to subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/IVProSchool, because that is where this recording and the code and the flow of today's workshop would be uploaded. And remember, tomorrow you have another part of this series where my colleague Arpindu will walk you through some interesting use case of again data and AI. So do not forget, if you want to get the certificate of this boot camp, then you must attend tomorrow's boot camp as well, tomorrow's workshop as well, guys. Okay. I will then see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye bye. Take care, everybody. Yes, all the code base and the documents will be uploaded on Ivy's YouTube channel. Just look for this, go to this one, and I'm going to upload it in the description of this. This will be done by tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, word tree. Amit, you have to attend tomorrow's workshop, and then, yes, you can. Bye, Prabhu. Bye-bye.